Yeah, sometimes this loss is not necessarily to death. Sometimes people lose people from their life as a result of distance. Yeah, things happen and someone may have to travel to somewhere and you no longer have such a link you had. You know, that proximity, that fellowship, you enjoyed with this person that caused them to have that impact in your life is no longer there. So you feel like there's a loss. So how do you now find strength after you've lost such a person who made a big impact in your life? And then, has there been someone whose work inspired you even after they've passed away? Perhaps you have someone like that in your life. It could be your father, it could be your mother, but whatever you're sharing with me right now, I would like to hear specifics, right? Give me examples. When this person was there, this is how they impacted my life. This was what they were to me. But since they were no longer there, they left a huge hole in my heart. For some people, it means having to take on the baton of leadership. For some people, it's more like, whoa, all of a sudden, I'm now the one in charge. And it's not something I'm prepared for. I thought this man was going to be here for like, at least the next 5 to 10 years. Just give me time. I know you're old, but people still they die at 100 and something. Now, why will you have to go at 90 something? Yeah, there are people who feel like that. So let's talk. That's the conversation we're having right now. At 1 p.m. we have the news, and after that there will be an interview on budget. Okay, and afterwards I'll be back here and we'll have yet another conversation. So let's start off with this one. Get aboard and let's hear from you. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. All right, I'm taking messages, so please do well to send me those messages on WhatsApp to 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. And here's just to also remind you something about Edwin Clark. He was known for mediating peace among warring communities and politicians in the Niger Delta region. I mean, recently, he set up a committee to reconcile the River State Governor, Siminala Ifubara, and the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. Now, whether or not the reconciliation actually has happened, that's not the issue here. But someone who was that person who would rise up to the occasion to at least set things on course. And all of a sudden, that person who you always look up to at least when something has gone wrong, you are sure that this person will rise and then, hey, you can follow. There are people like that, right? And so you lose such a person. How do you stay strong? What does staying strong after the loss of a very important person mean to you? What does it mean to you? All right? That's what we're discussing right now. We're not necessarily talking about Pa Edwin Clark or Pa Adebanjo. We're talking about you. That's the conversation. All right? So we're live on Facebook. So get on Facebook as well and let's have your comments right there. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. When people like this are gone, there's a legacy that people have to also build on. The person started something, and then the people who are left behind will have to either build on what they have started or do something that is close to what they have been doing. Because sometimes people live their lives in such a way that when they're gone, it's like there's a big shoe to fill, right? And people really find it hard towing the same path they towed. It's like, okay, this is too big. It was him. It was her. We can't do this one, but we can do something close to it. And that's why sometimes you find families, starting maybe a foundation, just to continue in the legacy of that great one who may have passed on in that family, or just to remember the person, just to carry on what the person has started. Sometimes they can't really do what it is exactly the person was doing, but they'll just find a way to do something that is close to it, so that we make sure that this name is not forgotten, that this lifestyle, this legacy is not forgotten. So I'd like to hear from you. So do you have such a person in your life? Did you have such a person in your life? And somehow along the way, that relationship was lost, especially to death. How have you managed? How have you been able to carry on, to stay strong? And in staying strong, how do you stay strong? After a person who had such a huge impact in your life is gone. For some people, it's their father. For some others, it's their mother. I've also heard people who would say, my elder brother. He was like a father and a mother to me. In fact, my parents had little or no impact in my life. But you see that my elder brother, when he died, I felt lost. I've heard people say something like that. A sibling, actually. And you'll be like, but your father and mother, they were alive when this person was alive. Yeah, but that my brother, that my sister was like my lifeline. Everything I know in life today, I learned from them. Hello, welcome aboard. What's your name?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Promise, calling from Gukana.
All right, Promise, go on.
Yeah, first of all, I need to condole a leader of the Nayata Pandit by Edwin Clark for the loss. I think he has also contributed a lot to the advancement of the United States. Now, to my personal experience, I had this experience when I lost my mom. I had this assurance my mom was alive that when you see my mom praying, the first prayer point she has was me. I was the only one she has in the house.
Oh, wow.
She had me when she thought she would not have a male child in the house. So she always tell me, she called me by this, God is alive, and that all our hope is always bank on me. She would tell me, my son, I know your sisters are married and they have children. But it is when you marry and you have children that I now know that I have the kids. I have grandchildren. So anytime you see her pray, the first thing on her prayer point is me. She will call me and say, God told me that he will do good to you. And that has always given me a kind of courage to face life. That has always given me the belief that there is somebody interceding on your behalf. And so suddenly I got married, and just a year into the marriage, less than a year into the marriage, so about a year, the first month that my wife gave birth, I was supposed to enjoy more of her services to give up. And that created a lot of vacuum in my life. And today, when I remember that nobody again interceding on my behalf, I had to speak up. Because I know she was the one interceding on my behalf and advising me on what to do and how to do it as a mother. And so that guy has been there and tried to move up. What other option do I have? I have to now bounce back to my wife as my mother. But remember, she can't do like a mother who give birth to you. So that has been a vacuum in my life. Up to now, when I look at a picture in my parents, I still remember all the advice has given me and how advices have helped me in life.
Wow.
So that's the way it is.
Interesting. Thank you very much for sharing. You know, when I was listening to him, I remember I heard a pastor share the same thing. And the way he put it was, he said, when my mother died, I felt naked. That's the way he put it. He said his mother was like his lifeline. He said if he had any problem, anytime, any day, anywhere, he had just had faith that nothing bad will go. Nothing bad will happen. Why? He said, my mother will pray. But when she died, I felt naked. Hello, welcome aboard. What's your name?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Muriel. Please go on.
This is Sarah from Abuja.
Muriel, your line is breaking.
But can you hear me now?
Okay, this is working now. Please go on.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Look, when you were narrating, when you were talking, my mind was just going to this movie. Then, just keep my mind. This Jamie Lannister and Game of Thrones, yes. When his younger brother, the dog, was trying to plan his escape, his elder brother's escape. Towards the end, Jamie Lannister's escape, knowing that it would cost him his life if Daenerys finds out. But he went ahead, and in the end, he told his elder brother. That was the last time they met. He said, if it weren't for him, he wouldn't have survived. He wouldn't have been able to live the life that it was. He knew that Jamie was the only one he had in this life, because his elder sister hated him, the king, and even his father hated him. So Jamie was the only one that kept him alive up to this moment, that he was ready to sacrifice his life. And so my mind also, I said, look, whatever happens, even the best people, the person who loves most in our life, whatever happens to that person, we should know that life goes on. Yeah, you will learn the person. You will not forget the person in your life. Some people go ahead to name their children, when they start having children, after that loved one, just to immortalize the person. And some people have raised foundations, those that have come into money. They raise foundation on that person's behalf just to immortalize that person. But the third person will always want you to move on. So go on. Let's go on in the overall. The scar the person left will take a long time to heal. But life, I've not. Even the dwarf himself, when he lived his life, he continued. Even when his elder brother died, he continued his life, but he never stopped. We can never stop loving them, even in their death. But life has to go on. Thank you, MC.
All right, thank you very much, Muriel. Thank you for that one. She says life has to go on. Yeah, the scar of the loss may be there. The pain may actually be quite... It seemed like it's unbearable. I remember watching the memorial service that was held for the late Herbert Wigwe and son. And I was just looking at the faces of the kids, that they left behind. Oh, yeah, it's true. He, his wife, and one of his sons. And I just watching those kids again, I was just thinking to myself, what must be going on? What might be happening in their minds right now? What are they really thinking about? Sometimes it's some people think it's easier to bear a loss because the person was wealthy. Yeah, because money was left behind. But it's beyond money. Yeah. Beyond the big person in quotes that you may be seeing on TV or anywhere, beyond the big name that you may know in your community, there's a person in that person's life that did not see them that way. They were beyond the big name that they had out there. They were something much closer. They were something much more to them. And sometimes it's not even their direct kids. It could just be some other person who may have taken them as a mentor, as a father figure or mother figure. Someone who just decided to make this person their own. And so hearing that this person is no more, even the big plans they had, even if they may have written down their goals and everything, they look at everything and it's looking like, where do I go from here? Where do I start from? I'm lost. What next? That person who took them by the hand, that person who guided them is no more there. Now, for some people, they actually look up to a person, a figure in the society, someone who's big, and they may not have a personal relationship with this person. But, whenever they read about the person, they draw inspiration from what the person does. They draw inspiration, strength, just from the person's lifestyle, from their impact. They don't even need to be close. And then they hear that this person is no more. Oh, it's a big deal for them. Have you found yourself in that kind of situation? What does it mean to stay strong after the loss of a leader? The leader might be closer home, like your father and your mother. The leader might be a bit far from home. Could be a community leader. But someone who actually had an impact in your life and in the lives of the people around you. Sometimes the impact may not be directed at you, but what they did around, what they did in the society, in your community, the moment they're no longer there. You know, sometimes you have people say, if this man were alive, with this thing that they left like this, would he have been like that? Would they be fighting this fight until now? Hello, good afternoon. What's your name?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
What's your name?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Dakuku from Aboki.
All right, Dakuku, please go on.
Hello? Hello?
I'm listening, Dakuku.
Okay, so in that issue talking about, it's always a shock for anybody. Unless the person's grief does not mean something to your body or it doesn't mean something in your life. Even if father and mother who died, the most surely touch is that's his son, or even if it's a father, the most surely does not impact negative things to your body. Definitely, when he later you'll be able to forget about that person. But when it can be impacted a lot to you, it shocks you. If it becomes 100 years, the person has become 100 years, it must surely touch you. That is the impact of it, moreover, when you have something in that nature occurring to that person. Let's connect somebody who done me. You're able to forget about that person, moreover. Because it's not to fight, not to get anything for him. You can achieve one thing for that person. You'll be able to forget about him. That the first time who impacted something to me, I will be able to reach him even for 100 years. I must sorry remember it. When something happened to me, I will remember that person moreover.
All right, thank you very much, Dakuku. Anunobi Onyekachi, I see your message, quite long. Bracing up after the death of a leader. I want to start by saying that describing Elder Edwin Clark as a fighter was not a round peg in a round hole kind of description. He should better be described as a peacemaker than that adjective that makes people see him as one of the former governors of this state who is still in government. Edwin Clark loves peace. Back to your question, I was able to cope after the death of my father and my in-law, the breadwinners and the pillars of the family. Unfortunately, they passed on the same year, doubling the pains and agony. But I gathered myself together. Even when others were crying, I refused to cry. Instead, I told those crying that the duo have played their roles in our lives and there was no need crying over spilled milk. That faith kept me till date, and by the grace of God, I'm doing awesome. God, in his infinite mercy, has also provided someone who now plays that fatherly role to me. I rest my case. All right. Favor from Rumokurushi, welcome.
My sister, I greet you. How is work?
Fine. Thank you.
I think you raised a very valuable point this afternoon. Actually, my name is Favor, but I answer a doorman in radio station. So now, that place in Ishan land in Edo State where I come from, there is somebody that died 130 times some years ago. He's from my community, just from my house to her house. It's just about 5 to 6 houses. Mm. Naturally, personally, I didn't gain anything from her. But for only her visit alone, for some things that he was doing in the house, let me say when he come out for a ceremony, either birthday or burial, only that youth, they are the youth of the community following her. In fact, I was so much lovely with her, but it's not that I get anything from her.
If I mention her name now, I know that everybody will know the lady I'm talking about. That is former First Lady of Nigeria, Stella Obasanjo. When that lady died, it was a very big shock that early in the morning. We youth that is around her, anytime when she comes, she always gather youth. Sometimes we'll be in the meeting. She will just be talk to us sometimes, telling us some certain things. But not only that talk, now again, that's not a favor. Nothing else. Why I'm bringing and the talk is that if she's still there around now, maybe by this time we don't gain better thing from her. But it was a very big something that was art from my particular place where I come from. Then back to Edwin Clark that just go, isn't this afternoon and be yesterday? I can't tell you like he's a man of peace. I want to let the people that is hearing us, all the people he left behind, should continue from where he just dropped his last statement concerning Rivers State issue, Fubara, and the former governor of the state. We are still in front that these both two former governor and the present governor should come as one, because Amos 3:3 said, can two work together except they agree? If River State must grow, these leaders, this former governor and the present governor must speak one language.
All right.
If they refuse to speak one language, personally as an Edo man or favor that you know, I will not be happy.
All right. Thank you.
On him. Thank you for the topic. I'm very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Favor, a.k.a. Edo Man. Thank you for calling. All right, so we're still talking about, about carrying on after the loss of a leader. That's what we're discussing right now. And I'm hinging this particular topic on the death of Pa Edwin Clark and Pa Ayo Adebanjo, both of them elder statesmen. Pa Adebanjo was the leader of the Pan-Yoruba Social-Cultural Group, Afenifere, and Edwin Clark was also the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. All right? And so I'm asking, what does it mean to stay strong after losing a leader? Now, and in trying to explain who this leader is, I went on to say that this leader might be someone who had a great impact in your life. It might be directly impacting your life with their actions, with their relationship with you, or perhaps they had an impact in your environment, in your community. It wasn't necessarily directed at you, but what they did in the society was something that meant a lot to you. And so, after this person is gone, and people are usually told to stay strong. Stay strong. What does it mean to stay strong? Muriel said, life must go on. So, when such a person passes on, you still have to, gird yourself with strength and actually move on, because life has to go on. And the person doesn't want you to pause your life because they've passed on. Yeah. You mustn't pause your life because such a person has moved or has gone to the great beyond. You have to still live your life. You have to still make impact yourself, right? But as well see it as they've passed the baton to you. It's a relay race. They've run their race. Now it's your turn. Time to continue. You have to move. You don't have to stay in one place, hoping, praying that this death you heard is not true. But it has happened. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yes. My name is Akanto Bitika. I'm calling from Borogo.
All right, go on.
What a sad moment. But one thing about life is just like a stage where a magician or where a magician displays. You will sing that song either to the admiration of the audience or to the set admiration. And now we now pass the baton or you leave the stage for another musician to sing. That is life. It's just a relay race where you run, you take the baton from the start and hand over to the next person. That you run well or you don't run well. Definitely you hand over to another person. The life you live will speak to the society where you live in. These people, these two prominent persons that just died 2 days ago, yesterday and 2 days ago, are great people. Their life has positively affected their race. So the Yoruba, the leader of the Yoruba ethnic nationality. And this round one is the leader of Niger Delta, the minority group. And let me tell you, Nigeria should know that Edwin Clark has given voice to the voiceless Niger Delta. Look at where he started from as the commissioner, the minister of information. He never knew that we become the voice of the minority race in Nigeria. And today he has stepped aside. Who else will take over this party? This faculty, it will be graded very easy, possible for other people to fit in. The party is for us now. Those are all who are living. Our life we live today will also speak volumes. Some people died yesterday too. News do not carry. But he that died yesterday, he news is everywhere today. That is so of those good people, rest in perfect peace. And we should emulate them to do a virtuous life for the posterity. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. He said something. He said some people died yesterday as well, and they were not in the news. Yeah, and that's true. And that's why I said a person who has made an impact in your life doesn't necessarily have to be a popular person. You're the one who knows that this person has impacted your life. Could be your mother, could be your father, could be your brother, could be your sister, could be a friend, could be a pastor, a clergyman, could be just about anybody. Yeah, there are people that there's just one woman or one man in the village that is not really anything to anybody, but somehow they found a way into this person's heart and became close. And they started getting advice, guidance from this person. And by the time the person died, they are mourning even more than every other person who ought to be mourning even more. I don't know why I'm sounding more. But, I'm sure you get what I mean. Because of the relationship they had with this person when they were alive. Maybe their own children didn't even have that kind of relationship with them. But all the same, life goes on, right? And that's the thing. Our deepest condolences to the immediate family of Pa Edwin Clark, and of course to every other person who has lost a loved one this period. All right? I pray that God will strengthen your heart, and so that you're able to still carry on your life amid what has happened. Thank you so much. We have to go now. We have the news, and after the news, there's going to be a conversation from Budget. So stay tuned.